You can stay if you want. It's up to you. Hello, everybody. If we actually have anybody watching, I was looking to see if I don't see anybody in the chat yet. So thank you for joining us for this live web chat. We have Khalid, not his real name, who is an Afghan atheist that we have on today to talk about his experience living in Afghanistan as an atheist, and how he got it, and the experiences that he's gone through. So I'd like to welcome Khalid for joining us today. Again, as I said, that's not his real name, but it's here to protect his identity given the situation in Afghanistan. So, Khalid, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, of all of you. Uh, I want to say something about the situation of Afghanistan and the situation of young generation that are interested to atheist. Afghanistan is unfortunately under the control of Taliban. Taliban is a famous name in Afghanistan. They took the power two times. The first time that they took the power in Afghanistan, they killed a lot of people by the name of ethnic issues and religious issues, and they put all the women to the home. They kill a lot of people uh, uh, by the name of sh- uh, different issues like ethnic idea and religious idea. Now Afghanistan is under the control of Taliban. Unfortunately, a lot of I knew a lot of young generation, a lot of young that were interested in atheists. They cannot live freely in Afghanistan. They escape to the other countries like Pakistan, Iran, United States, and other Western countries, but they cannot open their idea, they cannot live freely. Uh, I was an atheist that escaped from Afghanistan that was under the control of Taliban. But I knew some other atheists, they cannot live freely. If someone of them in Afghanistan, they are they living hidely, because if Taliban knew that someone is atheist, they will kill them. They cannot ensure this freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of beliefs.
Okay. And so while you were there, living there, they obviously did not know you were an atheist at the time, or did you get out before the Taliban took control of the country, or you got out after?
Sorry, I could not understand you here
So
clearly.
when did you leave Afghanistan? What year?
Uh-huh. In 2022, I left Afghanistan because I had atheist idea. I contacted with AAI group. They supported me, and I came from Afghanistan to Iran, from Iran to Cyprus, from Cyprus to France. Now I'm living in France. Here is everything okay, but I I worry about my friends that are living in Afghanistan. They live hidely, not freely. If Taliban knew, uh, they kill the atheist groups. They kill everyone that have uh, idea, unlike Islam.
What I find very surprising about Afghanistan that at Atheist Alliance International, we
Uh-huh.
deal with atheists at risk from many different parts of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And normally, those authorities or even the terrorists, they do not go after the family or friends. For
Mm-hmm.
Afghanistan and Taliban, it is completely different. Even if you are an openly atheist like Khalid,
Mm-hmm.
about Khalid, what I could say is I have seen many atheists from Afghanistan in my life since 2021, since the
Mm-hmm.
Taliban take over power. And
Mm-hmm.
I can name two, three, four atheists who are actually very openly atheist, criticizing Islam and Islamic rulings. And Khalid
Mm-hmm.
is one of those three, four people who are actually very open, very brave and courageous. But even then, for someone like Khalid, he will have to worry about his family. That the Taliban would go after his family and the friends. And this is very unique situation. I personally I come from Bangladesh. uh, in Bangladesh too, atheists are persecuted. I have seen in Pakistan, atheists are persecuted. We deal with those every day. In Nigeria, atheists are persecuted. We deal with many cases in Nigeria. Even in other democratic countries like India and Malaysia, where atheists time to time face persecution. Turkey as well, Iran. But in Afghan situation is that if you are an atheist, you are open about atheism, the Taliban, the authority would actually go after your family as well. There is no like this is that they will persecute the entire family. If you remember those Chinese laws back in those days, probably 1,000, 1,500 years ago, that if an government officials or someone is punished for a crime, they will eradicate your entire family. And that's exactly is still happening in Afghanistan. If you are an atheist, your family is at risk. So here we understand Khalid's situation a little.
So have there been any threats to you or your family, Ali?
Yes, I worry about my family because my family was the best supporter of me when I studied the books like Richard Dawkins and the book of Yuval Noah Harari that they write it important books in the world. My family, my mother, my father, my brothers, my sisters, they were the supporter of me. My father was a clergyman, but when I studied too much, he was the best supporter of me. But now I worry about the situation of my family because if the Taliban knew that I am an atheist and live freely here and my family is there, but maybe they harm my family and also my families. How can I say to you? They have another they have another crime to the Taliban because they are Shia, they are Hazara. You know, Taliban is killing by different crimes of Hazara people, Shia people. They don't like the other people in Afghanistan. Just they want everybody uh, think like Taliban, everybody do like Taliban, everybody act like Taliban. If the other think and act unlike the Taliban know their responsibility that kill the others. You know, you understand me?
I do.
Yeah, yes,
Scary.
Khalid. Please go on. Yes, Khalid, we can hear you.
We very often hear from the Afghan women who are at home. They couldn't go to school. They couldn't go to colleges. That they are not even treated as subhumans. What's the situation of the Afghan women, Khalid? We would like to know.
Yes, I want to say something about the situation of women in Afghanistan. Uh, uh, we knew that the Islam is known the women have how can I say to you? Sorry, my English is not perfect. You know, Islam is a religion that not recognize the women right exactly, and Islamic idea is against the women right. Uh, uh, the Taliban is an Islamic group. When they took the control of Afghanistan, they put all the women in home. They don't leave the women uh, to work freely, to go outside the home freely, and to go to the shopping, to go to the school and university are closed for women, and the jihadic school, you know, jihadic school is opening for the people that want to go to the university. They are closing all the university and school for uh, for mm, for all the people, not just for the women, for for other people that want to go to university. The situation of life is very dangerous for the women, for all the people, especially for the women that live in Afghanistan. You know, every day uh, Taliban put the prison all women activists. Many days ago, they uh, they captivated uh, the famous activist by the name of Julia Parsi. She was in prison for 3 months. Unfortunately, Taliban is the big enemy of uh, women rights activists.
There is also another issue that the world doesn't focus on, which happens in Afghanistan very much. That is child sexual abuse of boy childs. We know in Afghanistan it is an accepted norm. Bachabazi.
Mhm.
Is Taliban leaders are involved in bachabaji, and are they abusing young boys sexually?
Yes, unfortunately, this news is right because the Taliban abuse from boys. Uh, this abuse from boys that live that study in madrasa. You know, madrasa, jihadic school, Taliban special school that teach the Taliban idea to the boys. They abuse this abuse from the boy that is study in their school. It's right. Unfortunately, it's a big problem in Afghanistan that is the big uh, Taliban is the big uh, uh, how can I say to you? Taliban is the big doer of this action.
this is also an issue not only exclusive to Afghanistan. I think Arif is here. Arif would know we are now hearing the sexual abuse of girls and boys in madrasas in India, isn't it, Arif? I know that in Bangladesh it is very widespread. A few years back, we read a report from Reuters about Pakistan in madrasas, the
Mm-hmm.
sexual abuse of young boys. Then
Mm-hmm.
in Turkey, it's quite an open secret now, sexual abuse of the boys.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something very fascinating. In public, they would say for gay people, they should be sentenced to death or stoned to death. They would be condemned, they would be persecuted. But when it comes to real life, real practice, it is in the Islamic schools. These
Mm-hmm.
Islamic preachers and mullahs, they are very much involved in child sexual abuse. Even in Bangladesh, we have a saying that if you are a gay person, homosexual person, your best chance of finding a partner is in a
Mm-hmm.
madrasa.
Yes, yes.
Is that the same situation? We also hear from the gay people in Afghanistan as well. They are persecuted very much.
Yes, after before the Taliban, the Republic government of Afghanistan was in better situation because it was under the support of Western country that like United States of America and European Union. They was the best supporter of the Republic of Afghanistan. They the Republic of Afghanistan ensured all the right of gay, women right, and the other groups that was unlike the Islamic ideas. But after the Taliban took the power, all uh, all gays and lesbians that were lived in Afghanistan, they escaped from Afghanistan. If they could not escape from Afghanistan to the other countries, they live hidely. They cannot open their idea. They cannot open their sexual ideas. Unfortunately, now they are some of them are living in Western countries like Germany, United States, UK, and European Union countries. Some other that were in Afghanistan, they cannot live freely. They they live hidely. If the Taliban knew someone is gay, someone is lesbian, they kill and they persecuted them.
This is so sad. So, is it like they are going after to look for people like those, or people who actually oppose their point of views? Do they accuse them of
Mhm.
being homosexual, or they accuse them of sodomy to persecute people? Like, even people who are not homosexual, are they accusing them of homosexuality or such crimes?
Mhm.
And what Afghan people feel about, you see, for 20 years, uh,
Mhm.
the world was supporting Afghanistan so they can have a secular nation. And in these 20
Mhm.
years, a big massive generation of people, they were secularized, they had education, they wanted to have a life, and
Mhm.
suddenly they are abandoned by the world. How
Mhm.
the Afghan young people feels about the world, that the world has abandoned them. Are they frustrated about it, or like what's their exact feeling?
Sorry, I not understand you.
How Afghan young people feels about the world for leaving them in such situation?
Which situation? Situation of Afghanistan?
Yes.
Afghanistan is a traditional community. All people, unfortunately, think we're very traditional. Taliban idea is a traditional of Muslim culture, and it's a Islamic uh, terrorist group, and they think very, very uh, dangerous about the situation of life, the uh, the different types of subject of the life, but young generation is young generation are thinking different from Taliban. They are not the supporter of Taliban. They live freely, but unfortunately, Taliban captivated them. If somebody put some post about Taliban against Taliban in social media like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, the Taliban to try to captivate them and put to prison. It means that young generation is not the supporter of Taliban. The young generation of Afghanistan not think like the Taliban. They have another type of idea, and Taliban is another type of idea. You understand me?
Yes. Other Taliban fighters and leaders, are they taking multiple wives?
Sorry.
The Taliban fighters
Hmm.
and their leaders, are they taking multiple wives? Are they getting married? Like, more than.
Yes, yes.
And what is the process? Do they? We know that the situation of women is very difficult in Afghanistan, but do these
Yes.
Taliban fighters or the Taliban leaders, do they threaten the families of young girls to marry them?
Yes, unfortunately, it's a big problem in Islamic society that one man can select four women for the life, but one wife cannot select two, three, four, uh, four, three men for the life. But Taliban use this Islamic rules, because in Islam every man can select four women for the life. Especially it's written in Quran that every man can select four women for the life. Taliban use Taliban abusing from this rule of Islam. They select too much wife for the life. If somebody not agree about this selection of the Taliban, they threaten the family that have the girl, and maybe they kill them. It's a big problem. It's against women rights in Afghanistan. It's a big challenge for the women of Afghanistan, unfortunately.
I mean, we knew that women never had a choice in Islam, uh,
Yes.
to whom they should marry. But the
Mhm.
family of the woman, the parents, had a choice. The parents could say
Mhm.
who can marry their daughters or
Mhm.
who doesn't. So what I'm trying to understand, when a Taliban fighter approach a family that,
Mhm.
hey, I want to marry your daughter,
Yes.
is it granted or the family could say no?
If somebody not agree with Taliban, the Taliban will kill them. You know, every day from the news, by the news, that somebody is killed by Taliban fighters. It's right. I heard some news about like this. I I research about this news. I asked from my family, I asked from my friends in Afghanistan, is this news is right? I I agree with you that this news is agree that Taliban kill the people if they are an opposite idea of Taliban about selecting the women.
Hmm, that sounds very problematic. At least
Yes,
previously or in other countries, the parents had a right to choose with whom their daughters might be happy.
mhm.
So apparently now they do not have that choice. That to whom they find it, right husband for the wife as well. That's a very next level of oppression.
Yes,
It's just some type of it's the same old 1400 years old tradition. I believe. Okay, they went back 1400 years, where women
yes,
were treated as spoils of war, and soldiers can find whoever they want to marry. I mean, or whether the marriage is a different part. For a slave, spoils of war in Islam, you do not have to marry them. Actually,
yes,
you can have them as your property or sex slaves because they are spoils of war. This is permitted in Islam. Arif would know more about it as well, actually. And this is exactly going on in Afghanistan. And in this case, these women, okay, they're not even spoils of war. They are their
yes,
they're Afghans, but still they're treated as spoils of war. And this
yes,
is exactly what we hear at Atheist Alliance International. Afghan women writing to us to save their life because some Taliban fighter decided to marry that girl.
yes, yes,
And what disturbs me most is that for 20 years the world was trying to make Afghanistan a secular country, and suddenly a lot of people become actually secular. Young people, both men and women, they dreamt of a better future, and suddenly
yes,
they do not have a future anymore. No longer they have a future.
yes.
You have some questions for him, Jason?
Uh, we had uh, Saiful in the chat is asking about child abuse in the madrasas. He's saying he's written a book, but the, he hasn't actually asked a question, just asking if we can talk about that. Um, Maybe while we wait for some questions from our guests. So maybe Khalid, you can talk a little bit. You got yourself out of Afghanistan, but AAI helped you with getting. I presume you got refugee status or asylum status. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what you had to go through to get out.
Sorry, Mr. Jason, I not understand you clearly. Can you repeat your question?
Sure. Maybe you can talk a little bit about what you had to do to get out of Afghanistan and get to safety in another country.
Uh,
It's
uh,
because it feels
uh-huh.
yes. Khalid, please.
uh, uh, if somebody live out of Afghanistan, but it's clear for everybody that Western countries like USA and European countries are safe countries, but everybody has a family in Afghanistan that are not in safe place. Everybody is worried about it, his family, uh, but it's a big challenge for everybody. Especially, I like here in uh, safe space. France is best country. Security is very good. Everything is very good here. But my family is in Afghanistan. I'm worried about family. When every night I go to sleep, I think about my family, my brother, my sister, my mother, my father, because every day is a big challenge. Every day is a new challenge for all families in Afghanistan. Uh, it's unfortunately a big challenge for everybody that live in Western countries.
We would like to know a little about your family, how they're doing now. So, do you have sisters?
Yes.
You mentioned. So, tell us about how your sister's life was before Taliban take over of power. I believe they were going to schools and thinking about having a good future. And what's their life now?
Yes, before the Taliban, my sister was in university. Some one of them were in school, but unfortunately, after the Taliban took the power, they all at home because the Taliban don't allow them to go to university to school. It's a big challenge for me. I tried I try to ensure them some works to have some uh, how can I say to you? I want to ensure something like computer that have program online programs for them, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Unfortunately, it's a big challenge for every woman, every girls in Afghanistan, for every sister in Afghanistan.
And how's the economic situation there? Like your father had a job previously, I believe.
Mhm.
Because you are quite educated, you went to the university, went to a university, and you have a
Mhm.
science background in a
Mhm.
technical field.
Mhm.
So your father had a very good job, okay, and could make a comfortable living for the family. How is the
Mhm.
situation now? Can he do? Is his financial situation same like before, or it is worse now? It is bad now.
No, unfortunately, the financial situation is not good in Afghanistan. Uh, uh, Too much people are free. They have not work any work in the life. After the Taliban took the power, totally we can say the situation of uh, financial situation is not good in Afghanistan. Unfortunately, too much people are at home. No work, no money, not anything.
Another issue that actually I think about Afghanistan whenever I speak to Afghan people, that no
Mhm,
matter it's a secular person or religious person,
mhm,
or they have one wife or multiple wives,
mhm,
they have the family is quite big. It's like six,
mhm.
seven, eight children is very common in Afghan families.
Yes, yes.
And this is problematic for for any country today's world.
Mhm.
Massive population, a population that the government or the country cannot sustain. Is there any program in Afghanistan, the family planning program that was introduced during the secular ruling in the last 20 years, uh, or Afghanistan or Taliban stopped this family planning program and they're saying, okay, whatever Allah wish, okay, you will keep having big families and you cannot use contraceptive. Is the Taliban saying things like that? Is there any family
No,
program or contraceptive now?
no. When the Taliban took the power, they closed all the universities for women. They closed everything for women. Unfortunately, uh, they are unlike the last government. The last government was had some program about the member of family. But the Taliban is unlike the last government because they they distracted, they close the selling of the condom. They want to increase the member of families of Afghanistan. It's a big challenge in Afghanistan because Afghanistan is in a poor situation, in poverty situation, uh, under the line of uh, mm, poverty. Unfortunately, Taliban don't have a special program about the situation.
So you are saying you cannot buy birth control pills or any other contraceptive in Afghanistan. This is a
Yes,
point.
yes,
The
yes,
ban.
yes, yes.
Hmm. What do you think about that, Jason?
Sorry, I was looking at my mic settings just to see
Like
what's going on.
you cannot buy a birth control pill or contraceptive in Afghanistan. Is prohibited, banned.
That doesn't surprise me, given how patriarchal the Taliban culture is. Like, there's been some comments here about women and the misogyny in Afghanistan. Mohsin's asking, is so Khalid, the misogyny that you see in your society, is that cultural or is that coming from Islam? I had a friend um, from Pakistan who was telling me that some of it is more the cultural side of things, like um, what is it, like the burqa. Like in some Muslim countries, the burqa isn't um, is not imposed on the women. That there are, like in Pakistan, women can choose not to wear it. So he was saying that in some cases it's more cultural than it is the religious. So what's your take on the situation in Afghanistan of the way the women are treated?
It's appalling. I mean, like I receive it's okay. Probably I'm one of the person who has a serious problem here because I receive hundreds of emails from Afghans. And my ability, I mean, when I say my ability, I said Atheist Alliance International's ability to help is very limited. And I'm going to say this, okay? Many people may not like it. That the West has abandoned Afghan people for 20 years. They gave them a dream, then you can have freedom. After the war, for a year, there was some support. If you are an Afghan activist, you are atheist, you are a gay person, you can escape. There was some support available. Right now, there is no support. Like no matter what your situation is, the only support available, and uh, okay, this is another thing. Many people in the West may not like it as well, especially the political establishment. The only support available to Afghan activists, academics, especially to women, is Iran. I have seen in the past that Iranian government offering scholarship to Afghan women. I have worked with a few of these women. Okay, I have helped women to go to Iran with a student visa. If a woman from Afghanistan writes to any Iranian universities for a student visa, it is they offer it very easily. And after this Iranian Afghan girls coming to Iran for study, uh, they are receiving scholarship as well, free education. And here I know that okay, it frustrates me that I have to praise Iran for something, but that is the fact. The only help available, some in Iran, in Turkey, you can Turkish student visa is very difficult, although but it is possible if you have money. In Iran, if you are middle class or poor Afghan, actually these days, okay, most Afghans are poor. Middle class doesn't exist, I believe. And the only option you have for women is moving to Iran on a student visa. This is the fact.
Yes.
And this applies to Afghan academics as well. We have seen many Afghan academics are actually now doing their PhD in Iran, living there, some teaching. No other countries
Yes.
are helping these people.
Yes.
Arif wanted to say something.
Yeah. Khalid, I have one question to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when the Taliban arrived in Afghanistan in 2021, in the earlier days, it was said that Taliban is not like before. They have changed, they have transformed. They will give the freedom to the people, especially the women, and that's how they began everything. So finally, what we see today is that the females are the most suffered faction of the people. So we have also seen females committing suicide, the suicide rates going up in Afghanistan.
Yes.
So, um, and as you said, and you are identifying yourself as an atheist.
Mm-hmm.
So, does the people in Afghanistan they understand that what they are facing now is because of Taliban, which has a background in Islam, and this is everything is because of Islam that they are facing this, or are they just feeling that Islam is something good and Taliban is something else? How do the people of Afghanistan perceive this Taliban?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mr. Arif. We know that some supporter groups of Taliban, the propaganda in support of Taliban that Taliban is changed. Taliban is not the older Taliban. But it is a propaganda that the supporter groups of Taliban publish to the social media, publish to the every media that support the Taliban. Taliban is not changed. Taliban is the Taliban. Taliban is the last Taliban that took the power before 2001 in 1995. But unfortunately, this is a propaganda in support of Taliban. Uh, we knew Taliban kill every day the people by different crimes. For example, if somebody is think unlike the Taliban, if somebody is in opposite group of Taliban, they kill the people. They close the university for women, for females. They close the school for women. Taliban is the same, but some supporter of Taliban, unfortunately, they say something like this.
Oh,
It,
okay.
to this, I would like to add something since we are speaking about the plight of the Afghan woman. There is a systematic rape going of women going on in Afghanistan. That
Mhm,
Afghan Taliban fighters would come to some woman's house, girl's house, ask the
mhm,
parents to marry their daughter to them,
mhm,
and actually force them to marry to them. And
mhm,
this is a systematic rape of women happening in Afghanistan right now in front of our eyes. It's just it boils my blood, okay, when I read those emails.
Yeah, and there's a question from Smith, a humanist as well, about there's an increasing drug use in Afghanistan since the Taliban has come back. Are you aware of that, Khalid? That there's been drug use has been increasing?
What we didn't understand you. No,
There's
it's
so Smith the Humanist has posted a comment. So can you talk about the increasing drug abuse and the effects it is having on the family? So presumably, since the Taliban has come back into power, that drug use has gone up exponentially. So you're not there to witness it, but maybe you've experienced it through family or friends.
Sorry, I not understand you clearly. Can you repeat your question?
Yeah, let me pop it up on screen too. So Smith, a humanist, is asking that there is increased drug use in Afghanistan. Have you
Mhm.
encountered that in your experience? Are you there?
Khalid, are you there?
Yes,
Yeah, can you see the question on the screen?
yes, yes.
Okay.
I understand you. After the Taliban took the control of Afghanistan, the drug is using day by day. Day by day, it's increasing, unfortunately. A lot of people are addicted to the drugs. Uh, the Taliban cannot do anything. They put free to cultivating the drugs and uh, trading the drugs. Everything is free drug
what about
about
the
drugs.
what about the news report we now see? Like a few days ago, I saw a Deutsche Welle report, and other channels are reporting that
Mhm,
Taliban are destroying the poppy fields.
mhm,
They imposed a ban on poppy farming or cultivation.
mhm.
Is it true, or it's actually just another propaganda?
No, unfortunately, it's a propaganda. Everything is free about drugs in Afghanistan.
So
So they want people to be stoned on heroin, and that's why it's free, because they can control the population if everybody's is hopped up on heroin. Is that why it's free?
Yes, everything is free about drugs. The people can cultivate the drugs and uh, they they sell, they buy the drugs freely.
actually, I do not see it that way. I believe, okay, this is just a side effect that because Afghanistan produces 80% of poppies and in the world, and this
Mhm,
is one of the source of revenue, foreign revenue and
mhm,
currency. So the local population becomes drug addict as it is very available. That one factor, and second factor is that people okay, when do not have employment or any other goals in life, they become victims of drugs very easily. And this is,
mhm,
I believe, okay, this is just a side effect of they want to keep farming a poppy to for
mhm,
foreign currency as a source of income. And this is exactly
mhm,
what I was wondering, that in this all this media report we see, definitely media, when a media outlet goes to Afghanistan, it is very controlled. They can go
mhm,
only where Taliban ask let them to go, and they are filming all these events where Taliban are destroying poppy fields.
mhm, mhm.
In reality, that's not the case, is it?
Yes, yes.
That's interesting. I was trying to give
Once-
them some credit for this the other day, just a couple of weeks ago, that they're at least trying to stop drugs.
Well, the drugs is probably their only source of income for the Taliban right now, too, right? They can get some currency coming in from the drug sales. It's probably why they're allowing it.
How is the Chinese involvement in Afghanistan now? We hear reports that Chinese are investing there massively. Chinese are even, building hotels and resorts there, so the Chinese tourists and Chinese businessmen can go there, have a comfortable life. How is the Chinese involvement with Afghanistan society or Taliban?
Uh, China has a best relation with Taliban because China is the enemy of United States and Taliban is counted as the enemy of the United States. But they two are friends together. China has best relationship with the Taliban. They 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 are researching about the mines of Afghanistan, especially oil mines in north part of Afghanistan in our province, and mm, I don't think that the China tourists uh, go to Afghanistan freely, and because Afghanistan is not a safe place for tourists.
And how do you feel about India in that region, another powerful country?
I
Because
think India was the best supporter and the best friend of Afghanistan in Republic of Afghanistan, the last government before the Taliban. But now India don't have any relation with Taliban. Just they opened their embassy in Kabul. They put an ambassador, but they don't issue the visa for the citizen of Afghanistan.
that actually that's my second question is that India doesn't issue visa to citizens of Afghanistan. Okay,
Mhm.
understand. Let's say okay, it's understandable somehow that many other countries they do not issue
Mhm.
visa to Afghan people, which is very cruel in my view. But it's still okay that for a country's perspective, they could have a policy, and we understand it. But all
Yes.
these Afghan Taliban leader, they
Mhm.
are going to India for treatment. You know that Afghanistan do not have hospitals, and in that region, India has the best hospitals. What about this? Okay, and India having a
If the
good
leader of Taliban want to go to the India don't issue the visa for the leader of Taliban because the leader of Taliban is under the support of Pakistan. Pakistan is the best supporter of Taliban. When the leader of Taliban became sick, they go to Pakistan. They not go to the India.
not anymore. They are. What I believe is that there is this medical diplomacy going on, and
Mhm.
the relationship between Pakistan and Taliban is very
Mhm.
bad right now, especially
Yes.
now. Pakistan sending
Mhm.
the Afghans back to Afghanistan. That one reason. Second reason, probably the Haqqani network, which is
Mhm.
running insurgency in Pakistan.
Yeah.
And Afghan people are very supportive to Indians. We know that too, and that is good thing. That okay, at least okay, Afghan people should feel that there are people who are friendly to them. That's a right. Okay,
Mhm.
they should feel. But
Mhm.
Afghan leaders are going to India for treatment
Yes. Yes.
and those stuff. Okay, and what you feel about that? Okay, that India offering these facilities to the Afghan Taliban leaders, but not to common Afghan people.
I cannot say anything because the politics is changing day by day. Poli- uh, politic is changeable every day. Maybe in near future this happen, maybe not happen. I don't think so.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay. We don't have any other questions from the people watching. Tanoy or Arif, any questions to wrap up, or we've covered everything?
I think we have.
Okay. Tanoy, any
No,
parting
no,
comments?
no, thank you. And if any Afghan atheist and Afghan people, not just atheists, anyone are persecuted and they're listening to us, please keep writing to us. Whether we could help you or not, we will at least try to help you. If we could, we will help you. We may not be able to help everyone, but those who we feel are genuinely at risk, we would try our best, especially to Afghan women. We are here. We are here, okay, with you. We will always have your back.
Okay. Thank you for that, Tanoy. And Khalid, thank you for joining us today and sharing with our viewers your experience as an atheist living in Afghanistan and what you had to do to escape and get to safety. And as we mentioned, you're not using video. We're using a fake name to protect your safety and that of your family that is still there. So we do appreciate that this is a risk for you to come on and talk to us, but we do appreciate you taking the time and sharing your story with us and with our viewers. So thank you for your bravery and for coming on.
You're welcome, Mr. Jason. Thank you for everything. Thank you, Mr. Tuni. You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Arif. Uh, have a good day.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, and take care. Thank you for everybody who watched. Hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see everyone on the next podcast. Take care. Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye. Bye bye. Have a good day.